Hi, my name is Sheila Harris, and I am the founder of Rise Up Ministries International, where I, as a spiritual life coach, will help you navigate and achieve tried and true strategies to bring you to the best life ever. Join me each week, date and times to be scheduled here on Channel 29. I'm looking forward to working with you. Thank you for inviting me into your home. Let's go on this journey together. And remember, may He keep you in His perfect presence and peace with ever increasing measure.
How you guys doing? My name is Pastor Harris with Brothers for Change, which is a nonprofit here in San Francisco, located in the Western Addition. What we're doing here, we're at the Fillmore Heritage Center that was just built maybe a few years ago. We're in the theater, the media theater, I would say for education purposes for this community. What we're going to do is talk about what's happening in the Fillmore or what's happening in the African American community. Every year, during the same time as the Juneteenth celebration, there's what you call the Black Film Festival that's being produced. It's been produced for over 15 years now. Mr. Kelly, who's actually the director of it, is out sick, so I'm filling in for him right now. And the only reason why I'm filling in for him right now, because through Brothers for Change and the Black Film Festival, we're going to build an education class that will introduce the community to filmmaking and just basic videos, just picking up a camera and, and starting off. Maybe you want to film a wedding, make a couple dollars or something, and then you get to enjoy it, and then you become a filmmaker like the filmmaker we have today, Mr. Sinbad, right?
Sanel Sibanda.
Sanel Sibanda, okay, which is a filmmaker. I noticed that you have some films in large theaters that you produce. Can you give us a little background on how you got started?
Yeah, well, my name is Sanel Sibanda. I'm a filmmaker. I actually started in entertainment business when I was 7 years old. I was in an elementary school. My class was tasked with putting a performance, and so I did this dance performance theater called Easy Tandari.
Now you performed, or was it you?
I was
film?
performing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this was
So
like
you
on
danced
stage.
a little bit too?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So after that performance, people were excited with what they saw. And that's when I noticed that I had something to contribute to the world entertainment.
Okay.
And so when I went to high school, I formed a drama group called Secret 13. And I wrote plays for the drama group. I directed the plays. We taught different parts of the country. And later on, when I graduated, I emigrated into America. I went to Texas. When I was at the University of Austin in Texas there, I was in courses taking communication and sciences and disorders. Also, I was working for television and radio station for
In
the
Texas?
school, for the university.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I kind of got that little bit of background, knowing a little bit of how things worked behind the scenes. And I was also taking some acting classes. And I then decided to go to postgraduate. I left Texas and went to England.
Oh, wow.
And I was preoccupied with a lot of schoolwork because I was
Right.
doing. But when I returned in 2001, came back to America, I came to San Francisco. And San Francisco being one of the best places to learn about film and make film,
Right.
I decided I was going to continue writing I'm a screenplay writer, so I thought
Okay.
I was going to write my stories and send them for, basically for production to
Right.
big studios. As I was kind of going through this process, I learned that it's not that easy to get your screenplays accepted by big studios.
Okay.
They have agents that they accept from. And so I thought I was going to find that agent. I started
Right.
doing investigation and researching.
Right.
I realized that it's not that easy because you
Okay.
have to have a lot of money and the agents need to know you and they have to,
Okay.
when they take your script to the executive producers, they are known by those executive producers, so they know that Mr. Jones is
Okay.
bringing this
Right,
good product. We know
right,
him, they trust him.
right.
But for me, I was
Who
nobody.
are you? Right.
Yeah,
right,
so it
right.
was that hurdle that made me start to think, so am I going to just let my story die there,
Right.
or am I going to do something about it? It was at that moment that I decided to investigate as to what is possible for somebody like me with a story that I wanted to be told.
Okay.
So I began searching and affiliating myself with some film production houses, and I took some courses.
Okay.
And in the process of that, I kind of came across with the right people. It's all about networking in this
Right,
industry.
right.
So as I was networking with people, I was telling them my stories, and they were kind of supportive.
Okay.
And I came up with the script for Generation Now, which was my first feature film.
And when was that?
That was actually that film was completed in 2008.
2008.
Yeah.
Okay. So you all finished with school and everything?
Yeah, well, I was still taking classes
Okay,
here and there.
okay.
And so actually, I do have the film Generation Now, and so this was my feature film. That's the first one that I did,
Okay.
and I got this film to play at some theaters. After I did that, and I got a really positive response because I worked with a very talented cast.
Whoa, what happened to your eye? Somebody hit you?
What is it with you men? Think it's your job to put hands on a girl?
Your dad? Again?
You not Dad?
Come on, let's go. We're already late.
Where have you two been? You act like the ice cream man's gonna wait around forever.
Whatever. We're here now. Get up.
Just let it go, Z.
Fine. But now we gotta hurry and go over the plan.
Ice cream! Ice cream! Ice cream!
Well, aren't you a cutie? What can I get for you?
How much do you charge for chocolate eclair?
Aren't you a sweetie? What are you, about
I'm
5?
8, I beg your pardon.
I'm sorry, sweetheart.
Sir, it sounds like you have a flat.
Well, suppose I do, don't I?
I'm sorry about that, sir.
That's okay, sweetheart. Oh, by the way, chocolate eclairs are $1.
I'll take 2 eclairs, a bag of potato chips, an orange soda, and some Skittles.
Gee, is that all?
I'll be taking the money. Don't get stupid, mister. Just give us the money.
Oh, okay, Okay, take it. I got 4 kids at home and 1 on the way. Please.
Grab the money. Grab the money and go.
Very talented cast, and we had the great, reviews, and we got basically the San Francisco Chronicles helped us big time because they wrote a story on me. I was going through different difficult times during that time, but they wrote a story and put me on the front page, and so the community got to see my story, and they came and supported us.
Now, where was this produced? Where was it filmed at?
It was filmed here in San Francisco.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because well, last time I heard that a lot of people, it might be big companies, weren't doing a lot of filming because the cost was so much to do filming in San Francisco.
That is so true. Well, there is the traditional way of doing things.
Okay.
That is going through, if you're a big studio, that's how you do. You go through the proper channels. But most of students, independent filmmakers, we somehow find a way to make things happen.
Okay. So have you, so this was already, has this been into film festivals and won awards and?
Well, this one was actually selected in the SignQuest Views Film Festival, and we played also in a few theaters. Because I'm independent, so
Right,
I can
right.
always get it in all places
Right.
that I wanted to go.
Right.
And I'm a creator of stories. I'm not necessarily a salesperson.
Right,
So sometimes
okay.
I'm itching to make the next project
Right.
happen.
Right,
So after this movie, I started working on other projects.
okay,
One of the projects that I did recently that also got to play at a couple of theaters here, at Embarcadero Theater and also at Starshot Theater in Berkeley. It's called If the Shoe Fits.
okay.
And recently it was nominated, selected to play at the Auckland International Film Festival.
Wow. So how do you begin to, who do you go through to start getting even your films into these festivals?
Well, yeah, that's a good question. You have to do a lot of hustling and well, basically, right now actually things have gotten better. When I started, for example, with Generation Now, you used to fill each application for each film festival.
Okay.
But now there is a company that I found it very helpful. It's called Without a Box. And so
Okay.
basically you fill one application and you can now submit to like thousands and thousands
okay.
of film
Right.
festival all over the world.
Oh, okay.
And as long as you can keep on bringing that money,
Right.
then you can get it somewhere. The question is, how does it get selected?
Right, right. So you said that this Generation Now was a movie that was produced about your life and some of the things that you're going through, right?
Yeah, well, it wasn't necessarily about my life. It was about the life of the youth in our community.
Okay.
Actually, it was inspired by my observation of what the youth was doing in my community, especially on my street where I was living. So I
Okay.
wanted to tell the story of kids that
Right.
lived on my street or in my
Right.
neighborhood.
Right.
And so that was the essence of what this movie was about. I was trying to show that if parents are not there for their children, and if children feel neglected, this is what happens with the children. They try to form a community of their own to
Right.
try and survive. But without parental guidance, sometimes things don't always go well. And
Right.
that's what basically the movie shows. But it also shows that children can also inspire one another to do positive things.
Right.
As in the movie there, it highlights that.
Okay.
There's a group of children that get together and they basically form their own family and
Right.
support each other to do the right things.
Okay. So it's like you're building as we can call it as a filmmaking community of youngsters instead of breaking in cars and things like that, getting a camera and creating a camera crew. Because back in the day we had a lot of, I guess what you call it, the Soul Train, the bands and stuff like that, the
Yeah.
Motowns.
Yeah.
And somebody did capture that footage, but I don't think that we had a chance to really capture that footage as a culture. So what would you say to us now trying to capture our culture to be produced or to have an archives for later on?
You know, we are at a unique time right now. We're living in special times. As you said, back then, there was just probably films, and then we had tapes, and things were expensive.
Right.
Not everybody had a camera.
Right.
But now, with the introduction of digital film cameras, I think we can do a lot to tell our stories in our communities, because you can pretty much go pick up a camera there at the store, Best Buy, or
Right.
wherever you go,
Right.
and you can, as long as you learn to practice to hone down the skill of, framing and doing your angles, you can really tell your story. I've met so many filmmakers that are actually self-taught, but they just love to take those pictures
Right.
and love to take the video,
Right.
and they were able to look at what they had done and make it into some stories,
Right.
movies that inspired other people.
Right.
And some people, when they saw that, they were like, wow, this is good.
Right.
Why didn't you do something? And when I went to the film festival in Auckland, there were people that had never made films, but they used their digital camera to make films about their community. One guy made a film about police brutality. He called it the crimes of the police.
Okay.
And it was like a big hit in the community in
Right.
Auckland there, because people were able to relive the stories
Right.
of their communities.
Right.
And that's what I think is inspiring,
Right.
when people can go in there and tell their own stories, not
Right.
necessarily the stories that are geared towards, big budget or
Right.
making money, but
Right.
sometimes social stories, social issues
Right.
that can inspire people to make a change, especially with young people. There is a lot that they can do nowadays. Digital cameras are
Right.
getting cheaper and cheaper, and the media, SD cards, you are able to do a lot with very, very little money. So, one thing that I think I would like to encourage our young people in the community is not to be afraid to try it, because it's possible. It doesn't even cost a lot of money. So the fear is the most problem that affect many people. But if the fear can go away, just experiment, take risk.
Well, I know that you're busy and everything, but once we get going, we welcome you back to, share with our class and maybe even, give a couple pointers here and there, and so we can show your films and actually, go through the films and talk about the films and how it wasn't easy, but the main thing is that you found a talent and you found something that you wanted to get into, so you pursued it. And are these the only two, or you got more, or you?
Yeah, I just finished another film. This one is a foreign film. I filmed it in Africa.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
And it's in post-production.
Right. Okay. Well, now that's what we were talking about, is producing and showing from our perspective of life. So, I think I would love to see that. Somebody that I know now that actually shot something about a country that I don't know, that's part of my whole culture, So, we just look forward to, this whole Black Film Festival and the people that are submitting their films and things like that. But definitely, we want to make you a part of this foundation of being one of the filmmakers and showing young folks that there is things that you can do. Like you said, there's cameras all over the place, and now you don't even have to buy the tapes to go with the camera. You can just shoot and then download it, and then there's YouTube, so there's a whole lot more as it goes on. And I know the social media scene. Does that work also now?
Oh yeah, it's actually very important nowadays. People are getting discovered on YouTube, on Facebook, on all these social. So if you just have to have something to begin with,
Right.
and that could inspire somebody. You may take it for granted yourself, but somebody on the other hand might be inspired by what they see you doing,
Right.
and then it might make them want to do what you do, or
Right.
even end up being better than you. But
Right.
the fact that you started, you were not afraid to do it at the beginning, and then
Right.
you inspired somebody to do it.
Right.
And that's the key. So young people have a lot of opportunity. They can even use their cameras nowadays with cell phones.
Right. Right.
You
Right.
just have to
Right.
be there to think like a creative person.
Right.
And whenever you see something happening, capture it.
Right.
Who knows
Right.
what you might have.
Right.
And the good thing is that when you're using these little things like cameras, it's a way of practicing.
Right.
Because when you actually get the camera in front of you, now you kind of have practice how to frame your shots and how to tell your stories better, because you've been doing this for a long time.
Right.
And so when you actually start to make or tell stories that you will be made into films, you kind of have a concept of how to even begin.
Right.
It's not like a beginner, so it's good to kind of keep that in practice, not just wait for 1 year to be in front of, behind the camera, but do
Right.
it all the time.
Right. Right. Now, can you share a little bit about the difference in, I guess, graduating from your first film to your second film, and even maybe a little bit about the cost? Did the cost go up from being an amateur to being?
Oh yeah, it does. Like that. That's why I was saying that fear can hold us back. When I started shooting the movie Generation Now, things were a little bit different. There were so many aspiring to be actors and aspiring to be filmmakers. Digital film was barely making it then. But people wanted to do something that they could look into. Many of the people that actually were involved with my film, some of them have gone to become filmmakers. This one girl, she's now working with MTV and as a host. There's so much that happened then, but
Right.
now things have changed. The cost, people are expecting, especially in the Bay Area. At least for me, I feel like okay, I have passed the stage of being low budget.
Right.
I'm still low budget, but at least I want to compensate people that I work with.
Right.
It doesn't have to be too much.
Right.
It's based on your budget. If all you can afford to have for your either short film or feature film, maybe 1,000 to 2,000, so that you can feed people. Do something to appreciate the people that are helping you tell your story.
Yeah, 'cause I know it's a lot of youngsters in the community that do want to do some things. And matter of fact, I was just talking to some youth last night. The city produces these youth grants. It's called Youth Funding Youth Ideas. And I'm definitely not a youth, so I'm always trying to get these youth inspired to take advantage of, because this money is like $10,000 to $15,000. So I'm always trying to get them inspired to look at the application, fill it out, and make something from that, So I was just talking to them last night, it might be a chance that they might want to do some video, might not. But I think it's a lot that does, So, even with this theater being here, as you can see, it's a legendary theater, and we want to really do some things in this community as far as film-wise. So I know that people always want to know, once you interview somebody, where can we find your films at? Where are your films at?
Well, I have a website for this film, generationnowfilm.com. They are also available on Amazon.com, or this Generation Now is also available on Netflix.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
Wow.
and on Internet Movie Database.
Is this in the red box?
I know you can.
It seemed like I've seen this somewhere before.
They can also go on IMDb, Internet Movie Database, and they can look up some information about me, and they can contact me through either Google. They can Google me and find me, and I can tell them if they can find my films, say, online.
Okay. Well, see, now we're talking about, an actual production. One of the things that I know, I'm starting a new project called Another Way to Come Up, because I know in my community and different communities of color, we tend to flock to the streets of breaking in cars or selling drugs, something like that. So my program is called Another Way to Come Up, because I've been an entrepreneur all my life. So in that, you can be an inspired filmmaker that can actually produce this and not bootleg and sell copies of other people's movies. You can produce your own movies and not be a bootlegger and take money out of everybody else's pocket, but collect money in your own pocket. So I want you to stay tuned to this program, and we're going to teach you how to come up in a different kind of way, how to produce your own films, how to work the camera if you never worked the camera before. We know you have, though, because now everybody got a camera, everybody got a picture phone, you know, technology is out there. So we know you've worked something. You might not know what you're doing, but you've started, and that's the key. So we want to keep you going and have you graduate from that phone to an actually camcorder. So I want you to stay tuned. I want you to get on his website, though, and follow him, see what he's up to, you know, as he helps us also. But get inspired. Look at his website. Find out a little bit more about him. Contact him. Email him. You might want to produce something. You might have something you already have. Just contact him. Okay, so yeah, we just want to first, you know, thank you for coming out. And where can we find your films?
We can find my films on my websites, generationnowfilm.com, iftheshoefitsfilm.com, and I also have a new film called Zola, thefilm.com, zolathemovie.com, but they can also be found on this one can be found on Netflix, and on Amazon.com, and on Internet Movie Database. They are available. You just have to Google them online or Google me, and you'll find some information on them.
Okay, so why don't we close by looking at a couple trailers, a clip of Zola.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, this is my latest film, Zola, and this is the film that we filmed in Africa. And yeah, we're gonna look at this trailer.
Okay.
Daddy, please don't go. Ungasitshisonto.
Akula msebenzi lapha mfanana. When I get to South Africa, I'll buy you dancing shoes.
Take your pig. I mean, you were charcoal there. This puppy of yours. And go and never come back here. Don't come back. Never. Okay.
Curse the God for my bad fortunes. Your father takes off and is never heard from again. And I'm the one who has to take care of you.
His mama is dead, and his dad ran away a long time ago because he didn't want a rag boy.
Zola, what are you doing, you foolish boy? Are you dreaming again?
If I could fly like a bird, I would fly away. Everything that I get involved with never succeeds.
1 and 2, 3, 4.